Greetings and salutations, my goblin army. Welcome back to another episode of iDubbbz Complains. Today we're talking about preppers, and I can talk about preppers because I kind of am one. I'm a cool redneck.
Wow, iDubbbz just went way up my book. I thought he was a useless little nerd, but he's a cool redneck.
I'm going to try to be reasonable when talking about preppers because, you know, I want to be respectful, but at the same time, it's going to be very hard to be reasonable because there's videos that cover the topics of interrogation.
Think of the best salesman you've ever bought something from. Now double his skills.
Marauders.
What are you gonna do? Why am I not worried about marauders right now?
And KFC using cabbage.
They've got a lettuce shortage. So what KFC's done, they replaced it with cabbage.
What you'll notice is that they have an acronym, SHTF, when shit hits the fan. They also say WROL.
Without rule of law.
Without rule of law. World without rule of law, or raw.
They use this to sort of cover all their bases. You have to be preparing for any and all things. Like this video, this guy is talking about marauders coming and taking his supply of mac and cheese.
If you live in Florida on flat ground, it's gonna be very easy, be it a government force with tanks, armored vehicles, to very low chance of a guerrilla warfare. Terrain is what gives you advantage. Look at Afghanistan.
He's talking about like government vehicles and like tanks trying to get into his area. So he, you know, when he says SHTF, he's not really talking about, you know, a volcano eruption or a tsunami.
So what I want to talk about is the worst case. This isn't a Great Depression where, you know, you're low on cash. This is an EMP event, a total collapse.
He said that it's not like the Great Depression. I don't know why he doesn't think that's a threat. I guess it's because he's prepared for that specific event. He's like, oh yeah, I could handle a Great Depression. The thing that he is worried about is something that hasn't happened, an EMP event.
To survive an EMP or worst case EMP event, this is an EMP event.
I think with the EMP event, it means that their strategy of hoarding a bunch of food and supplies at their home isn't all for nothing. They can now don their trench coat and they can have a big old hound dog and shoot people with their pump-action shotgun who are trying to take what's theirs. But if they're hit by a nuke, you can't do any of that cool shit.
And we got all these preppers all over our community.
Holy shit, this guy must be former military. This guy must be like Steven Seagal. Where did he learn all these advanced moves and tactics?
Techniques, tactics.
I will be communicating with these people, making sure they're secure. After that, then I have to be prepared to protect my whole community. Within that 5 miles, I got tons of preppers I know. And guess what? This prepper I know, he knows 3 preppers near him.
I think I've learned more from XQC doing some math on like Microsoft Paint.
Circle is a probability.
And they're gonna be coordinating with these people they know. I don't need to know these people. I don't wanna know those people.
That has been the first true thing he said. He definitely doesn't want to know more people because the more people he gets to know, the more his system falls apart. No one to care about but me and sort of vaguely my neighbors.
If you don't know your neighbors and you live in the suburbs, you live in the city, you're not gonna make it.
I think this guy is sort of cosplaying as a character who cares about society and his community.
I know so many people that don't know each other because we don't want it that way. People realize it's gonna take community. I don't need to know these people. I don't wanna know those people. It's going to take having contacts.
This guy would do so well in as like a WoW guild leader. I think this guy would be able to conduct some really awesome raids on Molten Core, and he'd be able to take down Ragnaros.
After the initial collapse, we're going to be coordinating with these people I know, many of them.
If you too would like to coordinate with people, many of them, online, you might want the help of a VPN. This portion of the video is brought to you by ExpressVPN. I've been known to mouth off in a lot of online games. I say some really wretched things, and in the past I've paid for it dearly. When I say the bad things that I say, the enemy team doesn't like it, and they DDoS me. If younger me just knew about ExpressVPN, I would have been fine. I would have been protected against these low-level script kiddie attacks. It all pretty much comes down to the IP address. A lot of websites and applications are pretty free in showing your IP address to whoever's inquiring, and a VPN just sort of allows you to hide behind a layer of protection, and it also gives you the benefit of selecting what country you want to be piped in from. And this will give you more access to shows and movies from Netflix and other streaming sites. Hello, it's me, I'm from Boland. We love watching Grey's Anatomy here on Boland. Yes, we love to watch it. We're in the whole family. We get very big when it comes to Grey's Anatomies. If being a Polish citizen isn't convincing enough, how about this? ExpressVPN is like a pair of scissors. You don't think it's particularly useful until you've spent 45 minutes trying to get into clamshell packaging during Christmas time with like a steak knife in your teeth. Oh yeah, it would have been nice if I just bought the thing that opens clamshell packaging. If any of this sounds appealing to you, I will have a link down in the description, expressvpn.com/iDubbbz. That will get you an extra 3 months for free. Thank you so much for watching. Back to the regularly scheduled complaint.
We're upping our game on food storage. We're upping our game on everything that we use at the house, at the homestead.
I think this is one of those guys who, to be honest, if he felt like he could pull it off, he'd be wearing one of those old-timey hats. You know those guys, those types of guys who wear those old-timey hats, but they yearn for an earlier time for some reason.
This is how I do it. Let's just say tea. I discovered that I can put an extra one right here. All right, these are nuts. I could still put a few in here. Really, I could fit a few more in here. I'm at the point now where the relish and the pickles need to go in their own drawer.
While you're starving, this dude is going to be eating hot dogs with relish. And he's going to be making PB&Js while you're starving. You're going to die because you didn't prep. Good luck talking to your neighbors. They're going to be just as stupid and hungry as you. So have fun dying. Right now, this is my favorite prepper. His name is Bama. Bama Prepper. That's not short for Obama or Obama. It's short for Alabama. So if you're a marauder looking for a place to maraud, Alabama.
It's prepper time. Like, share, and subscribe. I got a bunch of these. Last year, there wasn't none to be had because this is going to become my new currency because the dollar's going to collapse all the way. We know they're going to kill that dollar just any time, so I'm going to go ahead and convert over my new currency, food and water.
A lot of these people think they're going to become salespeople, or like he thinks he's going to be a rubbing alcohol vendor after the shit hits the fan. It's kind of an advanced apocalyptic tactic to then barter with a bunch of people that you do not trust.
Go get meat if you know how to can while the meat's still there, even though it's higher. If you're a meat eater, get the jars and everything, can up a bunch of meat, because they're coming after that meat, I mean really hard. Harder than I've ever seen them. They don't want us to eat meat. They want to take that off to go ahead and feed us that other crap, the fake meat.
I think we can all admit that we love our modern amenities, and it hurts us to think about them disappearing. You got Nerdbox, you got Hulu, mattress delivery, but there's some things that are like even more like critically important to people, like our healthcare services. So this idea of like people with like disabilities or medical problems kind of stuck with me, and it got me thinking, like, are there disabled preppers?
Being disabled has a broad spectrum, because I mean you could be completely dependent, being, you know, like you have cerebral palsy, or say you have like my mother who has her thyroid removed, so you are dependent on medication.
So here's a post on Reddit on the Preppers subforum about hypothyroidism. Unfortunately, I suffer from hypothyroidism and need to take a pill every morning for this. Does anyone on here have any ideas what we could do in the case that shit hits the fan? Parentheses, besides stockpiling. Doctor here. In a real apocalypse situation, after 2 months, a large majority of people would have already died. If you survive this period, Synthroid is widely available in any pharmacy and you could likely just rate it. These people love fantasy. You can just raid it. It's as easy as that. Just do a raid. In the event that half the population has died, all you need to do is raid the pharmacy. And then you too can be a winner. Isn't it awesome to be one of the last people alive? It's awesome. It means that you have won at life. You have literally won at life. If for whatever reason you don't have access to a pharmacy, a natural alternative is to eat another mammal's thyroid. Easy. You just have a farm of pigs and you cut them up. You kill them and you cut out their thyroid and you dry it, turn it into like a soluble pill form, and you eat it. Yeah, well, I guess it sucks for everyone who needs modern services to take care of them. I'm not going to be participating in making sure that they have their modern services because I'm taken care of. Maybe don't be disabled, losers. Maybe don't have a condition. That's what they taught me in the military, is to not have conditions. This prepper has a daily report that he calls Boots on the Ground.
Hey YouTube, this is Other Prepper 1 and welcome to Boots on the Ground. Anything is a bullet point. Doesn't matter if it's bad news, good news. It just lets us figure out what's going on inside the United States.
Spoiler alert, it's mostly bad news. But again, I would call it neutral news because it's all very common shit.
This is the local Starbucks. They're reducing their hours, closing at 6 instead of 8. I am hearing this unbelievable amount.
Oh, holy shit. Starbucks isn't going to be open till 8 p.m.? That's insane. Shit is hitting the fan.
Also, for the first time, a homeless tent is being set up on Southern Broadway, a Denver neighborhood. So people are losing their homes, losing their jobs, they're poor, and they're pitching their tents wherever they can pitch them.
Well, that's a lot of assumptions to make. They're losing their jobs, they're losing their homes, and they're just pitching their tents wherever. Like, we don't know if that person lost their job. They could just be pitching a tent. We don't know who the fuck that person is. That's just some random story that some old fuck like sent in to your stupid Yahoo mail address. There's literally no details. It's just meant to scare you.
Last week, the trains have all of a sudden become very short, so not as long. So they used to be long.
The trains are becoming shorter. Men's taints are becoming smaller.
Penises are shrinking, taints are shrinking.
Also hard to get Milo Sweet Tea, another brand. Dollar Tree has no bleach. And it's hard to find large things of water. You might say, Dave, why are you even reporting these little things? Because it's tons and tons of little things I'm getting from people.
Big surprise. You have a bunch of paranoid freaks emailing you every time they've made the smallest observation. They were out of pita bread at the grocery store. And the pita bread that we did buy, it was moldy. Uh-oh. Economic collapse, anyone? For all the preppers out there, join a D&D group or start playing a video game. I think that's the best thing that you can do for yourself. There's a lot of interesting survival games that you guys could just go off on your own, not play the team game or the team objective, and you could be the last one who dies. And you could simulate this fantasy of yours like continuously in the game world. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you want to see more content, we have started a series called The Hot Seat with Dax Flame.
See, I don't know people. He's hot. Who's this? I don't know. He's cute. Yeah, he's attractive. I think I like darker, like, complexion guys. A cartoon character? No. No.
Do you know who it is?
His forehead's very big. Who is that?
Ian.
Shut up! That does not look anything like you!
Our first episode went out last week, and we also have a test interview with me on the Patreon. This Patreon is going to allow us to continue to make more episodes of The Hot Seat, so long as you guys like it, more documentaries and more little projects that you guys might find titillating. So thank you. Toodles!